It was a welcome sight when Marvin Harrison Jr. hit the practice field after 3 days off battling knee soreness. MHJ was back in action, and so were the Arizona Cardinals. Practice 1 of 3 leading up to the preseason opener, Johnny Venerable.
And what a nugget we got today. The Cardinals, for the first time under Jonathan Gannon, starters are a go for Saturday night in Glendale. What does it mean? We'll tell you. PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. Hey, it's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier, number 1 in the world, Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. Well, Brack in the house here on a training camp Tuesday. Noah Man behind the mic as they return from Glendale, and we kick off a banner Tuesday show with some pretty big headlines with regard to our Sweet Baby Redbirds, Bo.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What we were expecting, kind of like a subdued, quiet, low tempo, ease back into practice after 2 days off, and then kind of ratcheting up the tempo tomorrow. And then Thursday before the preseason, we got the good news that I think got everybody at State Farm Stadium on the Twitter streets, social media streets, kind of buzzing. Marv is back, but more importantly, Marv, Kyler Murray, the starters, according to head coach Jonathan Gannon, they're going to see some action on Saturday.
I told them last night they're going to play.
The starters are going to play?
Yeah.
What made you decide to change that up this year?
As opposed to 2 years this year?
As opposed to last year?
Yeah, I think it's the best thing for our team this year, honestly. You know, Teo, I think we're at a good point with our health. We're at a good point with our development. And I think that's, this year with our team, it's the best thing to do for our guys.
We kind of got some rumblings that maybe the Cardinals were going to play some guys. They're playing everybody. And I think the reaction to this has been overwhelmingly positive, by the way.
Yeah.
And I agree with it. And it's not just because I agree with it that I think it's the right move, but I liked the approach last year. I thought that team, given the lack of depth, right, just 1.5 years into a rebuild, it's like, let's just try to get to week 1. We were trying to break it down with the schedule last year. Can they just be 500 for a little while and then maybe, kick off in the second half and do some good things? So it didn't make sense to log extra miles. Gannon put it, I think, really well there. They're healthy. They have a lot of depth that they didn't have a year ago. And it's what most of the competent teams are doing, sans the LA Rams. Like, the Rams have their approach, and it works for them because their quarterback's 100. The Cardinals saw last year, maybe it wasn't indicative of a fast start that they wanted.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're taking their quarterback. They're kind of just rolling him out into the sun. It's like, enjoy this sunny day, Matthew, and we'll get ready we'll get ready for the season when you're ready. But yeah, I mean, what he says there is, he thought it just kind of was the best for the team. And what are they doing, especially on the offensive side of the football? They're leaning into chemistry. They're leaning into continuity. They're leaning into really kind of finding that extra gear offensively. And I think the only way you can do that is facing live reps. On the defensive side of the football, I think it's just you're working in so many different players. But yeah, as far as from like 1 to 90, the competition level, it's so high, and you need to see these players kind of get some run to really make some tough decisions before the end of training camp in the preseason.
There's not enough of a comfort level with the state of everybody's position in this franchise to be able to say, we're going to take off live bullets from other teams for 6 weeks or for a month, whatever it is. As much as I feel like Jonathan Gannon and Monty Ossenford are unequivocally safe, they're going to be here next year. They've got in the good graces of Michael Bidwell. Everybody is in lockstep. Like, there's an expectation they have to win games this year. Gannon's told us that. Austin Ford doesn't want to hear any praise about his draft class unless it comes in the form of wins this year. And this is an indicative reflection of that. You have to be in a position as a franchise. Guys could go down. We talked about it, Bo, last week. We got a long way to go before the start of the regular season. That's the risk you're going to have to take, because last year they were relatively healthy, and then they lost Ojulari and Darius Robinson, and they still took the preseason off. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. There's huge expectations on Kyler Murray. I think this is great for him. I thought last year he started well, but at the same time, can he keep that consistent momentum for 17 weeks? We haven't seen that yet. So Mahomes Saturday night in Glendale, I saw a lot of snark on Twitter. People like, it's the preseason. They're going to play a series or two. It doesn't matter. If it didn't matter, Andy Reid wouldn't do it every year.
Right.
You got Pete Carroll rolling out everybody Thursday night against his old team, Seattle. Majority of good, competent franchises are playing their starters in the preseason because guess what? They've tried to do the opposite, like the Cardinals, and they weren't happy with the results. Say what you want. We were talking to somebody close to the situation on Saturday. It's just as much as I agreed with the notion last year and I thought their schedule was tough, they've been 1-3 each of the first 2 years. They can't start that way this year.
I was unaware there was snark on Twitter. I really didn't. Maybe I've been oblivious to it. Didn't know there was much of that there on my preferred social media app. You guys are crushing in the chat. Rebel Leader. How about Fuddle, Ozzy, Michael Lyon, Math to the Power of the Joe, Machine Gun Mexican, Ryan Walker, Brian P. Just the entire squad here. Jalen Blair, I see you. I got to imagine Schaff was there. I saw Schaff earlier today at the Cardinals practice. But, yeah, I mean, I know there was pushback last year, but you're right. There was the ice was a little thinner as far as the depth on this team. You were already down tremendous before you even played your first preseason game. BJ Ojulari, a big who was supposed to be a key cog in that pass rush room, was lost, and we're still awaiting his return.
Right.
Now you've got depth across the board because of the development of 2 draft classes, another deep draft class, a good free agency period this offseason. You're in a really good position roster-wise. And yes, you did suffer a loss like Starling Thomas V, and it's brutal, and people wish they could see 24 out there rather than missing the entire season. But for the most part, if they could have suffered an injury at one of those key positions, cornerback is probably one that you would handpick.
And again, I'm not knocking their approach from prior years. First of all,
you were pretty outspoken last year.
Well, here's what I'll say, though. 2 years ago, they didn't have any good players. So, that we're just writing that off, right? Colt McCoy played, and it was a nightmare show, and it took him playing for them to go and get somebody else, right? So 2023, you can't really take anything from that. Last year, I was critical in large part because I didn't like the idea of playing Marvin Harrison Jr. without Kyler Murray. I thought that it was dumb. It was a mistake. They recognized it. They got him out of there. I didn't want Desmond Ridder throwing Marv hospital balls. I said the only way Marv should be playing is with the franchise quarterback, Kyler Murray. And so they've adjusted. So, but had they come out last year and said, we're sitting everybody, which they did minus Marv, I would have been totally okay with that because, again, they had an opportunity to go into the year healthy because their margin for error was so small with that roster. That is not the case this year. Save for, coincidentally, Marvin and Kyler and Trey McBride, every position group on this team is deep. They're about to hopefully sign Will Hernandez. They're going to go 6 deep on the offensive line. The defensive tackle group's a dogfight. Cornerbacks for days, safeties for days, off-ball linebackers. They got it all. So let's see some of it, and let's see some of it against 2 of the better rosters in the NFL right now against Kansas City and Denver. What a perfect litmus test for this team.
Yeah.
Because if you hold your own, then you ought to be able to just knock around, kick some ass against the woefully awful NFC South to start the year.
Yeah, great measuring stick games, I believe. I think you're right there. When you think about, though, what your expectations are going to be, what are you going to put in place? As I kind of just go through, and I think it is case by case, as much as I think Jonathan Gannon is saying, the bulk of the starters are going to play, or he says the starters, what's that mean for guys like James Conner? Are we going to see a heavy dose of Trey Benson more so? What's that look like? But overall, what are the expectations? What do you need to see from the first team offense, the first team defense, in preseason opener come Saturday evening.
I mean, like, I think the defense, to me, they don't really have to show me much, honestly. Like, I'm so bullish on this unit. They're so well coached. Not that the offense isn't well coached, but the unit has so many players. They're so deep. To me, it's like, yeah, you don't want the unit to look like a sieve, right? You don't want them to go up and down. I think you'd love to see some juice off the edge. Can this team get pressure with 4, which they have not been able to do because of the personnel in 2 years with this coaching staff? That would be my biggest thing, is can they disrupt with 4? Offensively, it's like, can they sustain a drive? What's the passing game look like? Marv versus Trent McDuffie, Trey McBride versus Steve Spagnuolo in that back 7. Like, the offense cannot wet the bed. And I think, again, if they do, then they can turn around on Sunday and say, we got a long way to go, fellas. Get your shit together before week 1, because we're going to make fun of the Saints later in the show. That'd be a cold, dark place in hell if we go into New Orleans and this team offensively is not buttoned up in the Superdome against Tyler Shuck, a.k.a. Nate Peterman II. So, again, take care of business now. Put together a game plan, albeit a watered-down version of it, and let's see this team knock off some rust. Guess who played his players in the preseason, by the way? Bruce Arians. Carson Palmer played in the preseason.
Yeah. No chocolate chip cookie dough flavors here. No exotic flavors. No type of sherbet. It's going to be vanilla offense. Just fair warning. I mean, that's just how it goes. But you do want to see some sort of performance from Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. specifically. You want to see that connection, because, like, as much as it's the offensive game plan, you're not going to want. And I'll say this is kind of more context. Like, Kurt Warner in the first team offense, like, they never showed you much. It was just as bland as it possibly could be, but you saw some efficiency. You didn't see a lot of the ball hit the ground, and you saw the connection. And really what people want to know is if how you've approached the offense, that you're going to lean into chemistry, you're going to lean into continuity, and that these guys and their time playing together is just going to work better year 2 as opposed to year 1. You have to give your best chance of doing that. And this is it. Like, this is giving yourself the best shot to hit the regular season, hit the ground running with your offense at full strength. Like, you have a season under your belt of everybody playing consistently together, and then you had another off season together. You kept the group together and didn't make much, if any, changes at all. You had the camp together. Kyler's getting the work with the guys that he needs to get the work with, and then you got preseason action. So now it's like, you hit the regular season, no excuses. There's no excuses. Like, hey, they needed to just knock the rust off because, they just really got camp reps and maybe joint practice reps, but they're going to have it all. They're going to have now 2 years worth of time just spent together, working together.
I mean, Bo, let's call a spade a spade. Like, what is this for? This is for the offense. Like, what questions do we have about this defense? The guys who are here can play, and the guys they brought in can play, right? Josh Sweat and Dalvin Tomlinson and Calais Campbell can play. Will Johnson was going to play anyway, because they play their rookies in the preseason. Yeah. Guys played in the rookie class last year. They're going to play a bunch of rookies. We know Budda Baker can play. Like, the defense, save for like 2 or 3 guys, Darius needs some reps. We don't have any issues. Nobody would have batted an eye if they were like, well, the defensive stars aren't going to play, because everybody knows. Last year, I thought they looked favorable against Buffalo until the second half. Then they looked great against the Rams. Then they looked great against the Lions. Like, they had some good showings early. This is about the offense. This is about the offense. Does it look cohesive? Can they build off of what worked last year and then double down and get rid of the crap that we don't like, that this offense is prone to do? Give up drives on 2nd and 3rd and long. Can they have a prolongated passing game? Are they, too beholden to the run and the tight end dump, right? Like, to me, unequivocally, yes, everybody's playing. You want to get some refinement. Let's see this pass rush against Mahomes. This is going just to say, like, where is Drew, Kyler, and Marv at in this course of the offseason? And if they look great, let's go. Let's go for 17 games. If it doesn't look good, we can sit here and I'll be on the post-game show and we'll talk about, this is Steve Spagnuolo. This is a dynasty defense, but
no,
but I was just about to say, nobody's going to give excuses to Kyler Murray. Nobody.
Yeah. I mean, it's Spags isn't going to come out, and he's not going to have a true game plan.
Yeah, but they're not going to like wet the bed either. They're going to
right.
They play their starters because they think there's value in it. So
yeah,
who are the Cardinals to say, well, we actually don't? Like, again, Sean McVay's been in this league dominating for 10 plus years. He's never played starters in the preseason ever.
Yeah.
And people tried to copy that. And for the most part, it hasn't worked out. Look around the NFL. All the starters are playing for the most part. And the league flipping loves it.
I would say that, and we talked about this so much with the previous regime. Like, they did so much against the grain, and there wasn't a lot of payoff. It's like, we're doing it differently than the majority. And it's just like, well, why do you structure training camp like this? Why do you structure the preseason like this? Why do you run your offense or defense a certain way? And it was so much of it just went against, what was the norm, but you didn't get the payoff very often. You weren't like, well, that they do this because they can excel in these different areas. That gives them the ability to do that. Like this, when you look at the rest of the league, like the most of the teams play in varying levels of playing time.
Yeah.
They're starters. And it's like, you can't just put something in place just because it's your philosophy unless you're finding an immense amount of success. And I think them, like with Jonathan Gannon's willingness to really critically look at things and their different processes, from how they, structure camp to how they practice and how they watch film to what they're eating to how they're going to perform and who's going to play in the preseason. It just goes to show that they're willing to tweak and make proper adjustments. Now it's like, that's great. People are excited about it. As he said, it's overwhelmingly a positive response outside of the snark. Shocked by it, by the way. And now you've got, giving your, I think, team the best shot to find success once the regular season kicks off in September.
Bills, Packers, Seahawks. I'm just going through Twitter right now. Giants, lots of teams playing starters. Some teams are playing them through the first quarter. I think this bodes well for this week, and I think they play starters against Denver. I think in Denver, I think they have joint practices, like especially if they need an additional series or two to either correct or build off what they do this Saturday. I think that to not play them in both games would be a little bit backwards, in my opinion. Like Kansas City this weekend, if you were to play them, you're still 3 or 4 weeks away from the start of the regular season. I think going to Denver, competitive one-day practice, we'll be there with full coverage, and then the preseason game, I think you let it rip these next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then you taper it down, and you let the guys on the roster bubble play in the finale against the Raiders at State Farm Stadium, and then you get ready for New Orleans. But I think you treat these next two weeks like game weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I was debating with Donnie Druin and Tyler Drake, cover the team, about how that's going to work. And remember the fresh hell that was 4 preseason games? My God, that was terrible. But the main dress rehearsal used to be the 3rd game.
Yeah.
And now I think in the 3 game format, you'd argue that game 2 is the main dress rehearsal.
It is.
And then hopefully when they taper it down to 2 games, it will be just your first preseason game. And then you kind of figure out who's going to make the roster as far as the finale. But yeah, I see it how you do as well. I mean, it's just one joint practice. This isn't like Indianapolis and then the previous year in Minnesota where they had back-to-back joint practices were the highest effort level practice that they experienced during camp.
Yeah.
Where they're just going to have one, all-out joint practice, I would assume, against Sean Payton's Broncos on Wednesday, and then they're off, basically for the next 2 days before they're participating in the preseason game that Saturday night.
Yeah. Fuddle just became a diehard. Welcome, my friend. Appreciate you becoming a diehard.
Fuddle.
Yeah. Tag us on Twitter, retweet and follow from the Beat account. We'll see you in the Discord, my guy. Pick up your free merch. Again, everybody follow Fuddle and become a diehard. Best time to do it is right now, $36 for the year. And it's going to get you so much and more. As we put a bow on this conversation, I saw your buddy Alex Clancy say he doesn't like the decision, which again, to each their own, right? And it's going to be a lot easy for people to come out and say like they shouldn't have played starters if somebody gets hurt.
Yeah.
Again, they had a very disappointing training camp last year with injuries. They lost 2 players that couldn't afford to lose. It hampered them during the regular season. Like this happens every year. I feel like I see more practice report injuries than preseason games, honestly.
Yeah.
But we have PTSD from Jonathan Cooper and injuries of years prior. I mean, like, if this team has the goods this year, then they can afford to play 2 preseason games for a quarter, 2 quarters. And I think the positives, and Gannon obviously agrees, greatly outweigh the negatives. He said it himself. They're healthy. You can risk it, for lack of a better term. And I'm excited. I want them to compete. I've already heard from a ton of people who were buying tickets to this game now Saturday night. I expect it to be packed. And hell yeah, let's go. It's football season.
Yeah. Fire me all the way up. Absolutely. I'd love to hear Clancy's harebrained reasoning for why they shouldn't play in the.
I'd actually rather not hear that. But
and just everybody, full disclosure and transparency. Anything we say about Clancy on this show, it's nothing that we wouldn't say to his face. I've said far worse.
He's beloved.
This is Clancy's. This is how Clancy, and this is not like it's organic. It's authentic. But when everybody else is zigging, he tends to zag. And when everybody's like, "Hey, this is a great idea, great call, JG," he's like, "I don't get it."
Hey,
and that's just how it is.
I don't love groupthink, so we appreciate him.
Hey, that's great
for that alone. We're gonna get full practice.
Still a bad take.
Still bad take. No doubt about it. Still bad take. I'll tell you what's not a bad take. We're gonna take Bo and ask him after the break how practice went today. What's the latest with Marvin Harrison Jr., Elijah Jones, songbird of this generation? Plus, we rip on the Saints. Elijah Simmons, excuse me, not Elijah Jones. Things are looking rough for him. And then we're gonna talk about speaking of rough, the Saints quarterback room, which I don't know if you followed some of the tweets today coming out of New Orleans, but that's a fresh hell I don't want to experience. Hammer the like button. PHNX Cardinals continues on. We're continuing on with our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. This is a reminder, everybody. This is the spot for PHNX Cardinals on the road this year. We kick things off in extravaganza, August 28th. It's a Thursday. Live show at 4:30. Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass, 6 to 7 o'clock in exclusive. This is off air for the folks in attendance. Open Q&A hang for everybody at Gila. Free $99 to get in. Come, bring your families, get some food, get some drinks. And then after the fact, we will have our fantasy football draft, which will be broadcasted on the tube, on YouTube. Plus, our guy Shaft is taking care of the diehard fantasy football enrollment, and they'll have their draft as well. So again, you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com. What I hear a lot of people are doing is they're coming to hang out that night at Wild Horse Pass on the 28th. Again, free. They're getting a room that night, staycation, taking Friday off, hitting the pool, hitting the casino, hitting Prime Ashula Steakhouse. Perfect night out for you and your fam. Bo and I just did it last month. I can't wait to see everybody. It's our season kickoff. Again, I mean, it's 3 weeks from this Thursday, the 28th. We'll see you at Gila.
Man, that is a perfect plan right there to get out there and just make it a staycation at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. It's a sauna out there. Welcome to summer in Arizona. We still got a couple more months. Just buckle up. But this is about as brutal as it's gotten so far this summer. But look, heating and cooling costs, not heating. That's where you're going to try to keep them down, right? And APS is going to help you do so as we just go through the gauntlet of one of the hottest weeks so far of this summer here in the Valley. APS customers, listen up. Smart thermostat can be your best friend this summer. It works with APS's rate plan to help you stay comfy and cut down on energy costs, which is such a fine line, like a fine line to ride. Like you got to crank it down and then your energy costs go up and you're sweating it out. You don't want to sweat it out any longer. Get a smart thermostat for as low as $0 from our friends over at APS and enroll in their cool rewards program. Check out marketplace.aps.com and find out all the smart thermostats that you can connect on your smartphone, and you can start finding out through their cool rewards program how you can cut energy costs immediately. Check it out, marketplace.aps.com. Must be an APS customer. Shipping on tax and taxes apply. Other restrictions may apply. Visit marketplace.aps.com for the full details.
Breaking news on this show, Keenan Allen signs a contract with the Chargers, officially returning to the team that drafted him once upon a time. No news as of now on the impending signing of Will Hernandez, although Maybe it's just refining his contract a little bit. I would say maybe start to get nervous if he takes additional visits. But again, it was emphasized to this program that, Bo, as you connected the dots on Monday, I mean, are they wasting time coming in for a visit for a player that's been here for the last couple of years? So still expect that to get done eventually.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe they were trying to see if the news breaking yesterday about a visit from Hernandez would conjure up maybe some teams come out of nowhere and offer him more money or starting spot, whatever it may be. It's wait and see on that front. But yeah, you and I pretty confident maybe they can get something done. Cardinals were back on the practice field today. One big return was Marvin Harrison Jr. MHJ got out there, looked good. Johnny, didn't look like there was any ramifications, any ill effects from the knee soreness. He looked like the same guy that's been dominating camp before his 3 practice absence. And then we also had a couple absences today. Michael Wilson continues to go through concussion protocol. I think he's close. I think he's going to be somebody. He was around his teammates today. We saw him at the red and white, looked like a guy that was all there, wasn't going to feel any ill effects from the concussion too much. You got JJ Russell out with a concussion. You've got Simi Fihoko, who's also a wide receiver that they signed this offseason, another Stanford guy, bigger body wide receiver, dealing with a quad. But the biggest absence to me, Johnny, I don't know if you picked up on this, was Justin Jones not being available with a knee issue.
You bet your ass I picked up on that, no doubt.
Veteran defensive lineman vying for a roster spot, not practicing. That's pretty vital, I think, as far as his ability to try to stay on this team.
And then he's missed 1 practice, so I'm not going to overreact. But clock's ticking. Sorry, this is August 5th. Are you old? Are you expensive? Are you unavailable? That's 3 strikes and you're out, my guy. These, he and Bilal Nichols. Again, the team doesn't have to come out and say it. The team will say all the right things in public because they're buttoned up, thankfully, with he and Austin Ford, that being Gannon. They said it with their actions this offseason. Walter Nolen, come on down. Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais Campbell, come on down, right? They love Dante Stills and LJ Collier are just they're unavailable every day. I'm sorry. The people that, again, the snark Twitter, the trolls out there that said, yeah, they'll be on the roster because of their contract. Let's see. The F they will. If they can't practice and play, why are you keeping them around? Like this, they're about to play starters in the preseason as an indicative for them to start fast. You think they're going to carry guys who are old and expensive that aren't available? No, they won't. They'll just say, let's give it to a kid who's out there every day from Tennessee that we can mold and develop, right? We had a couple whiffs 2 years ago. Happens to everybody in free agency. Move on. Don't let it cost you games you can't afford to lose. So again, hopefully for Justin Jones, who's been practicing, hopefully he gets back out there. But again, like when I was out in practice and I pointed this out to Bo, it's like you had the core of the defensive line, right? The guys we talk about every day, the D tackles, including Elijah Simmons. And then Justin Jones was having to play special teams. He was trying to block, a field goal. He's on field goal block. Is that what you wanted from a guy that you gave $30 million to? Probably not, which should give you an idea of where he's at right now on the hierarchy. So, I mean, like, I'm sorry, this is a business. And like they're in the business of trying to win games this year. What happens if you keep him on the roster and then you go into week 1, Elijah Simmons gets claimed, right? And then Justin Jones is like, I got a knee. I'm out. Right. I'm out for a month. It's just like, okay, that was a huge waste for us.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be really really interesting to see how Monty Austin Ford navigates this. Him and Jonathan Gannon working in concert as far as really trying to sift through who's going to be the guys that they're going to keep on that defensive line. And if your biggest ability is your availability, right? That cliche. Yeah. It's really gonna hinder, I think, Justin Jones, because I don't even think like there was an advantage that he truly had over some of the players that he's going to war with here for a roster spot. Like we know the 4 guys who are sharpied on this roster, right? You got your 2 first rounders the last 2 years, Nolen, D-Rob, Calais, Dalvin Tomlinson, and we added Dante Stills to this conversation. So you got a 5th. It's like they end up at any point during the season, which is very realistic, having 6 guys on the active roster. and we think we can expand to 7, just given, how quickly maybe Nolen potentially could come back here. But there's not a whole lot of wiggle room there. You've got to be able to go out there and perform against your peers there. And LJ Collier, not going anywhere. LJ Collier, number 91, he's going to be ready to go. He's ready to do whatever it takes. Elijah Simmons, as you mentioned, who was also mentioned today, as far as how he performed in the rookie show last night, voice of an angel. He also is a guy that fills a need. I think you look at what Walter Nolen and Darius Robinson can do, and what Calais Campbell can do, and what Dalvin Tomlinson can do. You're looking for a true nose. Does Elijah Simmons give you that option that you might not find from the rest of the crew?
You play in the NFC West. Guess who just got a bunch of money today? A running back in the NFC West. Guess what Kyle Shanahan wants to do this year with no wideouts? Run the football. Seattle last year, run the football. Okay, give me the kid who's 20, 21 years old that's enormous, that can stop the run, that can be an heir apparent to Dalvin Tomlinson, that you can carry 7 defensive linemen. Carry 7 defensive linemen, cut Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols, and be done with it. And again, Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols, respectfully to them, those guys are available every offseason. You want to go get a depth guy next year, do that. They feel like, we were told right after OTAs, Elijah Simmons had a great OTA period. And I think hopefully he shows out. Hopefully he looks good against Kansas City and Denver. But I feel like right now, this is an easy decision, in my opinion. Gannon told us they're not in the business of cutting good football players. We've reported on this show yesterday, Walter Nolen's not starting the year on injured reserve. He's going to be on the active roster. So anybody that's well, Walter Nolen's going to be gone for 4 weeks. That's not happening. So truthfully, we know the group. Okay. There's the 4 guys that are locks, which we talk about all the time. Darius, Walter, Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais, LJ Collier, and Dante Stills, in my opinion, are locks. So there's 6. So then it just comes down to, if they carry 7, who is that 7th man? Well, I would give it to the guy who's practicing every day, that has a unique skill set, that's young, that's cheap, that clearly has ingratiated himself with the rest of this roster. Just be done with it. Cut your losses. You don't need this money. That the dead money, no one cares. The fan base isn't going to hold it against you. I'll tell you what, fan base is probably going to be more disappointed unequivocally if you cut Elijah Simmons and keep Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols. No doubt about it.
Yeah. The one thing I will push back on, I think Justin Jones is a guy that's willing to do whatever's asked of him. I think he's a good teammate. Sure. He isn't somebody that's just kind of taking down the locker room just because he had a poor season or he wasn't available.
Not healthy.
Due an injury, right? Yeah, I mean that's going to be a big reason, big play into why they could and how they make their decision. They're not gonna make any excuses for anybody, and they're not going to roster somebody that they don't think is going to give them the best chance to win. That's just cut and dry, and that's where I think you kind of can take some solace as far as who's calling the shots. There's no more favors any longer in this organization. There's no longer a general manager that's well, you took this much money last year, and we're going to keep you on the roster this year at this figure, or you did this at a certain age, and you suffer an injury, and we're going to still extend you, coming back from that. They need guys to come in and make an impact, and they're going to take the guys that give them the best shot to do so.
This is going to sound harsh, and I apologize. This franchise is 16-35 since 2022. Nobody wants to see a player who has an $11 million cap hit this year not play again after not playing last year. The sympathy for that from this fan base, I think I can speak for everybody collectively. We're done with that. Give somebody else an opportunity to stay healthy and contribute and be available. I think that it's exactly why you're playing starters in the preseason. Let the best players contribute and produce. No more assuring people, and I'm not saying Gannon did this necessarily, but no more assuring people of a starting job. Gannon's always talked about competing. Jobs are up for grabs. I'm so over this situation. It feels like weight from a prior offseason. Will Johnson has come in, Sean Murphy-Bunting step aside, right? Walter Nolen is going to practice soon, and they've got 10 other defensive linemen to speak of. Bilal Nichols and Justin Jones, last year was your opportunity. It's a hard business. It's a cruel business. They're going to have a ton of guaranteed money that they're going to be able to take with them if the Cardinals part with them. And I'm sorry, just like enough. Last year, they counted on these players to help them, and both defensive tackles let them down, and they missed the playoffs. This year, you have to make the playoffs. You have to have a winning record. You have to have double-digit wins. The roster needs to reflect that. Now, here's what I will say, though. If they keep Justin Jones, then I will give Gannon the immense benefit of the doubt, because I do not believe for a second it's going to be because, well, we can't look bad to the public because if we cut him, we've got this much dead money. They don't give two F's about that. It's about putting together the best team. So again, it's like in all actuality, how important is the 6th or 7th defensive tackle? But I'm going to tell you right now, it says a hell of a lot more about where Justin Jones is than Elijah Simmons. Elijah Simmons would love to make this team as an underdog, where Justin Jones was the number 1 D tackle prior to Darius Robinson's arrival on the depth chart last year. And now Christian Wilkins got cut. It happens. Sorry. Thanks for playing.
Yeah. Yeah. Different circumstances, right?
Right. But I mean, just teams move off of guys. It's the NFL.
They do. No, that's like things that you think, are true in this league change at the drop of a hat. And that's why that's one of the reasons people love it too. It's just like, it's always changing. It's always evolving. It's always, you never know, like there's so much parity. There's so much competitive balance because of just how the league is structured and how, violent the game is and physical it is. And you got guys that you think are going to be stars in this league for a decade, a half a decade, and their production falls out of a cliff. They get hurt or they just fall out of favor and they're gone.
Yeah. I mean, this is such a pivotal year. Who is going to be available to go to war in a dogfight with the LA Rams, with the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday Night Football? And who's on the injury report, and who's going on IR again, and who looks slow at the line of scrimmage? Enough of this. If guys pop on Saturday, keep those players. Let those players give. It's why people love Dennis Gardeck, because he worked his ass off and he hustled, right? Like sometimes it's just basic analysis with your eyes, and it's an indictment. But Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols looked bad last year before their injury. They're expensive, and they're blocking potentially younger talent from solidifying themselves on the roster. And I'm just not having it. If he's healthy and he's going to contribute, awesome. But I saw that today. I'm just like, okay, well, here we go again.
Misses a practice today. I don't think he can afford to miss any of the preseason games. No. Bilal Nichols, there is an option, I think, there for him to remain, on some form of an injury list, whether it's PUP or go on IR and him extend his stay here. But, if you're healthy and you should be playing and you can't, and you're not healthy, it's just, it's a big strike against you as far as this team and where it wants to go in 2025.
There are going to be defensive linemen that are cut from other teams that I would rather have in the month of August and early September, because guess what? They're available. That's the biggest thing. I don't want to sit there on Sunday morning before we're doing our pre-show and we get the inactives and there they are. That's losing football before you even take the field. Enough of that. Who's available? Marvin Harrison Jr. was available. How did he look, Bo? Look good?
Look good. Yeah, Marvin was out there, looked like himself, number 18. Like there was no ill effects, no slowdown, no handle it with kid gloves or anything like that. I mean, it was a low tempo day anyway, but we saw Marv out there get, fed the rock a couple times, saw Zay Jones continue to get the ball as well, Trey McBride. So first team offense, man, that's what it is. I think Zay was filling in more so for Michael Wilson today, who's on the mend from the concussion. But it was some slow, low tempo first team offense went up against the second team defense, but there was, half speed. Couldn't get a true sense of it, but tomorrow I think we should get a good sense. But the most important part is, Marv's just back. Seemed like it was just kind of some maintenance. I think maybe Marv, just as far as how much work he's been putting in to put himself in a position for like a breakout, a jump in year 2. I think you just saw just needed some time, some downtime.
We're going to give you some downtime right around the corner. We're going to go into training camp highlights. I do want to highlight a super chat, though. Your boy Pizza Pasta, great name, $10. Just became a diehard. Y'all are the best part of my workday. Make me feel still connected to the desert. Hopefully, I'll see y'all in Denver if you're here, and I can nab a ticket from a greedy Broncos fan. We appreciate you, ya boy. I'm gonna call you ya boy because that's great.
You can't leave out the pizza pasta.
Pizza pasta. How we doing?
Pizza pasta.
That's right. That tag us on Twitter. We appreciate you. Enjoy the merch. Enjoy the Die Hard Discord. I saw another question too. And hopefully,
are we gonna have a chance to do a live show at the DMVR bar? Like, how does that work? That's upstairs, isn't it?
I mean, we were told we're gonna get to our
but
Jane's handling that for us.
It's not in front of like a live audience though, right? Like we're upstairs,
but I think like could we if
come hang?
Come hang at the bar. It'll be a blast. I wanted to highlight a comment here, and I probably won't be able to find it now, but somebody asked, is it worth being a diehard if you live out of state? And I think our community would tell you, hell yes, it's worth it. Hopefully what it will do is it makes you feel closer to the desert and Cardinal football, even outside of Arizona. So if you have any questions about that, let us know. Our DMs are wide open. But again, our goal is everybody who subscribes to this show and is in this chat, become a diehard. We will make it worth your while. Everything that we do, we'll document behind the scenes next week. We'll go in the Discord exclusively. Again, for $3 a month. I don't know how you can say no. We're saying yes to more Cardinal football talk right around the corner. But first, I'm saying yes to our friends at Branded Bills. I ran to an appointment today. I got multiple compliments on this hat. It's the only hat I wear. Branded Bills. Again, Cardinal football, ASU, U of A, PHNX Suns, whatever, PHNX Sports. Looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd? Branded Bills has you covered. Again, I have gone the way of Branded Bills. I will never defer again. Truckers, fitteds, beanies, snapbacks, and more. They also, again, they partner with the Suns. They partner with ASU, U of A, locally owned and operated here in Mesa, Arizona. Head to brandedbills.com. I promise you, you will tell the difference when you put one of these lids on. We're going to hook you up right now. 10% off your order. Again, PHNX, 10% off your order. It might even do 15. Go and try it right now. Try for yourself the hats that people just absolutely love. They're everywhere in this community. I take my kids to school. Everybody's got them. It's because they're the best. And you're not paying premium money for one of these bad boys as well. Check them out at our ALLCITYLocker.com. You can get this hat today.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I saw the new Cardinals sideline hats officially for 2025. I said, no, not today. I'm a Branded Bills man going forward. Keep that away from me, even though I kind of liked what I saw. Look, everybody needs a checking account. Love our friends over at Mountain America Credit Union because they've got my style checking for your lifestyle. That's right. Mountain America Credit Union knows that everybody's unique and it's a case-by-case basis with how you manage your money and what you need from your credit union. And look, they've got hundreds of branches across the West, millions of users. Check them out, and you can enjoy, with the My Style checking account, the perks of restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, loan rate discounts, offers on travel and events, and so much more. Make My Style your lifestyle with the Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle. That's macu.com/mystyle to apply. Membership required. Also, based on eligibility, some benefits require no-cost registration activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Love it. From Mountain America Credit Union, macu.com/mystyle.
Love this comment right here from our guy, Terrence. I'm a diehard in North Carolina. Totally worth it. Being a part of this Discord def makes you feel closer. We appreciate that, Terrence. Fantastic. And again, I'm from the Midwest. Not just saying this. If I was living out of state, it's 1,000% what I look for growing up. You don't have to scour like Reddit boards anymore. This is a community here. Let's see. G. Willikers.
No, if Johnny was just like a Midwest listener and he just watched the show from his home in Illinois.
Yeah. Who would do the live though?
I don't know in this bizarro universe who would fill Johnny's role, but thinking about him though, it's kind of on the peripheral. It's kind of exciting.
I would bully my way onto the show. G. Willikers cashed in my free diehard tee on the Bird Gang Gloves tee. That's a great one. It's a classic. Yeah. And then grab the $5 PHNX tee too. Absolutely. It's a bunch of $5 tees. And again, we've got new tees dropping any day now. When they tell us, you guys will know when the new tees drop. In the meantime, Cardinals again, wrapping up training camp today, light day, and then tomorrow figure to ramp it up a little bit. I'll be out of practice with Bo. Sounds like NFL Network Bo is going to be in the house tomorrow, holding court with the
That's
Arizona
right.
Cardinals.
Old friend of the program, Ian Rappaport, joined us a couple times here on this show. How about Cynthia Freeland?
Yeah.
Who else? Who else is with the squad going out there to training camp? It's a trio. Forgetting the third and last piece. Is it?
I wish it was Baldy.
Taylor Bisciotti, I think, is going to be out there. So nice trio of reporters representing the NFL Network tomorrow at Cards Camp. A couple more tidbits in clips from Jonathan Gannon. Let's hear from the Cardinals head coach on Will Johnson.
Will had a nice interception on Saturday. He's been running with the ones. What would you like to see from him specifically Saturday in his first game?
Technique consistency.
Short and sweet.
I think Jonathan Gannon is making sure everybody knows, yes, special player, special talent. Nobody's anointing anybody except for us here at Fanboy Media, content creators. But, they're not going to put, Will Johnson in the Hall of Fame yet. And so just because he's supremely gifted and one of the most polished rookie corners we've seen in maybe my adult life doesn't mean he doesn't have an opportunity to get better. And we know secondary is Gannon's baby. So again, I expect Will to play a good amount on Saturday night.
We're hitting like the 2-week mark officially as far as just camp. It opened up on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
We should hit that tomorrow, the 2-week mark. And, with this being a little bit different, you got the game that you're ramping up towards. I asked Gannon what changes as far as how the team prepares. This was his answer.
That's a really good question, Bo. Not much. To me, I told him last night, this is still training camp. You know what I mean? So we're going to go at it. We're going to compete this week. We're going to load them up with the proper amount of volume as it, compared to the first couple weeks, their first 3 blocks. We need to keep upping our volume. And we're gonna keep, doing what we've been doing, sticking to our process.
I mean, I didn't think it was a great question. I thought it was fine. I think, first of all, I wasn't there, so I see if that is said tomorrow, if he's available tomorrow. But I thought it was a fine question. Was it below average? I think some people are saying it, but I'm not. Good question. I don't know.
Jealous? Sounds like it.
I'm fine. Everything's fine here.
How you like me now, Johnny B?
Move on to the next question. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Marley. People are saying in the chat. I don't have to say it. People are saying it. And then Noah, I saw that clip and Noah labeled it Bo and JG buddies or friends or whatever. And I'm just like, what is this? What is this BS? I don't want to see that. Ain't nobody want to see that.
Come on. You can't have it all. You can't just take it all. Can't monopolize Jonathan Gannon admiration.
You'll pay for this. You'll pay for this. What else is going on? Any other clips from our guy?
I mentioned you had the undrafted rookie free agent Elijah Simmons put on kind of a show. Obviously, we saw the video that went a little viral with him showcasing his singing voice. JG gave us a little more insight on last night's rookie show.
Will Johnson did a good job. Oscar and Bryson did a good job. Elijah Simmons did a good job. And the O-line did a pretty good job.
Did Elijah sing?
He sang. And then, it was so good, he got a standing ovation, and then he was about to sit down, and they said, get back up there and keep singing. So it was good. We had some dessert food trucks out there, a little bit of a take a breath before this week because they know it's serious and we got to be locked in now.
Dessert food truck. Ooh, that's what I took from that. A little ice cream, a little churro action. Let's go.
Clean it up. Let's go. Come on, get the sweet treats off your mind.
What did the D line eat? What do you think that defensive line probably put away? Gallons of ice cream, dessert truck. Oh my God. It's pretty crazy how you're walking around and it's just the biggest humans you've ever seen. It's just like, how do you maintain that? All the guys that retire and then they lose 100 pounds because you just have to maintain it.
I just can't believe Simmons. Like the one that the video that surfaced last week of him, I think in high school singing, and then I think like people were so impressed, they were giving him like standing ovation and demanding an encore. And here this guy is fighting for his spot, but also it's just getting like this type of recognition for his ability off the field.
You're not cutting players like that. It's about
keeping him because he has he's
no, but
between Fergie and Jesus.
You're in the dog days of the season, and you want a team that has continuity, and there's a family aspect to it, and they clearly love this kid. He's fitting in. He's in every position drill, or he's in every I watched on Saturday I was there. Dalvin Tomlinson was off to the side, probably getting some reps off, and it was Darius, this kid, and LJ Collier. And it's like they're investing a lot of time with this kid. So I'm not going to sit here and say I know definitively they're keeping him on the roster, but man, just read the tea leaves. He's got to produce. The preseason is going to be huge for him. He can't look, slow and out of proportion and not, scheme. What do you call it?
It's the scheme fit?
Not scheme fit, but I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to say. He has to look like he plays in the realm of the defense. He has to follow the structure of the defense. And he can't just go off and do his own thing.
Right.
And if he's consistent with that, if he's consistent with that, I think he will make the team. So again, there are opportunities there, but I think we'd all be really disappointed if he's not on the roster because again, if he's on the practice squad, we're all just sitting there thinking, well, it's a long season. He's vulnerable to being claimed. What happens if he gets claimed? A lot of teams need a nose tackle. For it's making no money.
You don't want him to go to San Francisco.
No.
That's a big need.
You joke that he could easily get claimed by them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let them claim one of the guys the Cardinals cut, the expensive guys who aren't available. And they can go to San Francisco and be not available with their defensive linemen who are also not available.
Yeah. That's a good collection of guys. And the thing is Simmons, great voice. We have fun with that. And guys, doing their thing off the field. But the focus for this entire team is playing ball. That's the number one thing through the vetting process. The guys keep the main thing, and they are locked in. They had a little fun last night, and now it's turn your attention towards the Chiefs preseason opener come Saturday.
Yeah. Everybody like this video, 400 watching live on YouTube alone. We appreciate that. I do want to have some fun here. Noah, man, you let me know when the highlights are ready to go from camp today. But in the meantime, before Cardinals kicked off their camp, New Orleans was also holding training camp today. And if you want to talk about a fresh hell for a franchise that couldn't be down any worse, we know what that's like a couple of years ago. New Orleans, it's your turn. How about this from New Orleans camp? This is Nick Underhill, covers the Saints, and is usually pretty pro Saints. He said, Tyler Shuck taking first team reps today. His first pass was a near pick. His third pass was picked off. He is having a Nathan Peterman-esque type of training camp at the fresh age of 26 years old. He is back up right now. They released a depth chart ahead of this weekend behind Spencer Rattler. It has never been more over for Tyler Shuck. There is no chance in hell outside of injury they're going to start this kid. I think it's over. Especially if he looks like garbage in the preseason, just hang it up. This franchise
camp reps.
Yeah,
the guy can't take care of the football. He's going to be eaten alive. And there was tape during the pre-draft hype train that was very concerning, along with his age. And people kept on telling you, this kid has moxie. I loved what I saw.
Does it make you think less of Louis Riddick?
No, no, of course not. Louis has forgotten more ball than I'll ever know, right? He's fantastic. But there was people got deceived by Tyler Shuck in the pre-draft process. And shame on the NFL. Shame on the Saints for the team taking the bait the most. And you see this stuff Shedeur, as much as we like to poke fun at Shedeur, Shedeur Sanders is a far better quarterback than Tyler Shuck. Yeah. And it's unbelievable. He went 3 rounds ahead of him. Tyler Shuck went in the second round He was the first quarterback off the board in the second round.
What pick was he?
Was he like 34, 36?
He's ahead of Will Johnson, 40th.
40th. Okay.
We're going to look back if Will Johnson is elite and look at that, how we got to 47.
Can you imagine utilizing a second round pick that you can't even use? Can't even, you couldn't play him. Like, he can't be, there's no way they make him the backup going into the year, right?
You think he's going to start?
Play?
You think he's going to start? He can't.
No. I'm talking about the other way. I think he's got to be like a third stringer.
No, I think they'll list to not kill his confidence. They'll list him as a gimme. They'll carry 3 quarterbacks. He'll be listed as the backup, but yeah, he can't. I mean, I don't know if it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. People are like, he's going to have the best rookie season because he's the oldest. This is the dumbest logic.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any of his highlights and ever think like this guy's going to.
He's never produced.
No.
In Oregon, he didn't produce. At Texas Tech, he didn't produce. Produced a little bit at Louisville as a 24-year-old senior.
I'm going to run down the second rounders from this year. And you tell me one player before Will Johnson that you think could have a really good year this year. Okay. We're going to go rapid fire. Browns took Carson Schlesinger, 33. Texans, Jaden Higgins, 34. Haven't seen a lick of a highlight for him.
He's the guy that got the fully guaranteed deal that kind of messed things up. Yeah.
Seahawks took Nick Amawari, the safety out of South Carolina.
I think he can be really good. He's very toolsy.
Yes, and they do a great job with DBs. Browns took Quinshawn Judkins, running back for Ohio State. Miami Dolphins took Jonah Savania, the guard from Arizona. Patriots, this kid has looked good. Trayvon Henderson, guess what? Ohio State running back. Chicago Bears.
I'm not going to take a running back over a corner.
Right. He has looked good, but yeah. Luther Burden III for the Bears. The Bears are in another kind of fresh hell with how Caleb has looked. Then Tyler Shuck goes 40th. The Bills took TJ Sanders, D tackle. So the Bills passed on Will Johnson twice.
Yeah.
Took TJ Sanders from South Carolina.
I like TJ Sanders. I did. But the same thing. Probably take the premium position.
The Jets took Mason Taylor, tight end from LSU, who's already injured. But I mean, the Jets have corners, but yeah he's not practicing. The Niners
Joy
took
Taylor's nephew, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. The Niners took Alfred Collins, D tackle from Texas, that's a gross overdraft, and he's going to be thrust into the lineup. Here's a pick that's going to, I think, as much as I despise this franchise, he has looked good in camp. Donovan Ezeraku, DN from Boston College for the Cowboys, has looked good. I mean,
what does Ezeraku have in common with Will Johnson?
Smart, and they performed at the collegiate level.
And both guys that were projected to be first rounders for the bulk of the pre-draft.
Ezeraku had like 20 sacks.
Same thing with the South Carolina safety that went to Seattle that you mentioned early in the second.
You're not drafting based on just potential. You're like, they had great collegiate careers. They tested well. The Colts took JT Tuimoloau, who we liked. So, and then the Rams took Turd Ferguson at 46, who's not practicing. So there's about 2, maybe 3 guys where you feel like those guys could hit this year and look great. But again, versus a number 1 corner, then you better be a stud pass rusher. That's the only thing that can supersede it. Ezeraku getting 15 sacks or 12 sacks eventually, whatever.
They also have the breaking news: ESPN acquiring the rights to Red Zone.
Barf.
They just released the statement on that. So hopefully they don't mess with something that's sacred in our sweet Scott Hansen Red Zone 7 hours commercial free football. Licensed games, NFL Red Zone, NFL Films programming, as well as content and other rights to ESPN.
Damn. Well, I mean, here's what I hope, that people who maybe, because NFL Network had a hard time making money. Mm-hmm. So hopefully people who are employed with NFL Network get to remain employed with ESPN. People get to keep their jobs. So that's number 1.
Yeah. So
I think, whether or not we love a show on Sundays 17 times a year, that's kind of moot. But from the stance of Red Zone, that would be, ESPN ruins so many things that we love. They have to have the wherewithal just to leave it alone.
You would think. We'll see. We have camp highlights ready. Let's take a look at how today looked. Got Jonathan Gannon looking on. Low tempo day. There's Walter Nolen looking a little sullen, a little downtrodden. Here's Kyler starting to bark out where he wants to go with the ball, dropping back 11s, half speed there. There's him and his big time playmaking tight end Trey McBride. Kyler getting the ball in the hands of McBride. So now we're just going to see a couple 85 catches here, just getting after it today. It's no half speed for Trey McBride. Gets it going. Good aesthetic, by the way. He's got the Jordans. He's got the hoodie. There's Marvin Harrison Jr. He was back in action today. See him there. Good shot by our guy Noah. Is MHJ returned to the practice field.
He looks great. Again, time off did him well. He's going to play this weekend by all accounts. Again, get him matched up against Will Johnson tomorrow in camp. Let those continue. Those two high-end players continue to refine their crafts together. We've got Zay Jones looking good, Xavier Weaver. I mean, Cardinals wide receiving core is probably slept on nationally outside of Marvin Trey, and these guys need to pick up the slack. DeMercado getting a little run around there. Kyler Murray looks sharp. Kyler Murray looks sharp over the weekend. There's JG and Trey McBride. Like this team, they're probably tired of facing each other. I'm sure as JG talks to Will Johnson, the number one corner, like they're going to revel in this. If you want to compete and play at the NFL level, like I hope that you don't want to sit out the preseason. I hope you want to be able to test your abilities. We all remember that game against Kansas City in the opener of 2022. I know a lot of Cardinal players are not still on the roster as we enter overtime here. Like have some pride, go out there and perform. Yeah, sorry. Overtime. Welcome one of our many streaming partners jumping over to gophnx.com. But yeah, I mean, like people might roll their eyes at that. The Cardinals no-showed against Kansas City the last time they were in Phoenix. This is a new regime with new players. I mean, like if you're Kyler, Trey, and Buddha, remind everybody of that. It's like, hey,
they retired Isaiah Simmons, the Cardinal. Remember that the preseason game, the business decision, the loaf. So that was, I guess that was the last time, right? That was that was in the preseason, and then there, of course, the infamous, season opener.
Yeah,
it was a worst performance by Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, and then you watch CeeDee Lamb and making highlights stay in Dallas. It's just like what could have been with he and Tristan Wirfs, but yeah, they're better off, and now they are going to play, big boy football under Jonathan Gannon against Andy Reid, and I can't wait to see it. Again, hammer those likes. Again, we've got almost 400 watching live. Let's get to 500 likes here on a football Tuesday. One super chat from our guy ARZ. In the words of Arians, no risk it, no biscuit. Absolutely. The Cardinals, if there was a way to sustain training camp momentum that was only in practice and assure you that you would come out, smoking hot week one, they would do it. But clearly they value this. And I'm sure the league loves that they value this.
Yeah.
It's on NFL Network, I think.
Yeah, people, purchasing tickets. They have something, really worth sitting down in their seat and consuming instead of like, oh, let's just go root on the team on the front of the jersey. Now you get to see a bunch of guys that you have on the back of your jersey firing it up and getting ready for the season. And it resembles a lot of what's going on around the league. It no longer is different. You have to, find reasons to like preseason. It's not like, hey, I hope this guy who's fourth, fifth string can scratch and claw his way on the roster. That's going to be there. But now you also get, on the marquee starters going to play in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great opportunity for some of the youthful players for the Arizona Cardinals. And again, like Darius Robinson against Kansas City's offensive line, sign me up for that, right? Like those are the kind of matchups where you feel good about what you're doing in practice against the Cardinals players. Let's see you do it against the modern day dynasty best in the world. So anything else before we get out of here?
No, pretty quiet day. I think things ramp up tomorrow with the tempo in practice. And of course, as we get closer to the preseason game on Saturday. So last practice out there, State Farm Stadium. It's been a blast to get out there and see a lot of the listeners, the viewers out there, everybody chopping it up, cheering from the stands, getting a glimpse of this 2025 team. Last time, it's bittersweet. As much as I want to get to the regular season, it's a bummer we're not going to be out there with all our friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Tomorrow we're back at training camp. Myself, Bo, Noah, full coverage. Again, the Arizona Cardinals ramping it up, Bo, tomorrow. We'll get it going. We're fired up about that.
We will. Make sure you're following along on Twitter, Instagram, all your social channels at PHNX_Cardinals. Johnny's going to be out there. Johnny Venerable, me, Bo Brack. Don't miss out on any of the action. We got stuff hitting the YouTube channel. Don't miss out on that as well. Get those alerts set up. Subscribe to PHNX Sports. Our march to 45K. 50K continues. We're going to get there before the kickoff of the season. More and more Cardinals fans getting to interact together, be a part of this community, celebrate this team, and what we think is going to be very fun season for the Redbirds. For Johnny Venerable, for our guy Noah behind the scenes, make sure you have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 4:30, right here at PHNX Cardinals.
We all silly like the mayor.